Welcome to another technical tutorial in the Generative AI Future series, brought to you by ByteGoose AI. Today, we're doing a really deep dive into Google's EmbeddingGemma. It's a seriously powerful and super efficient model that's, well, it's kind of changing the game for text embeddings. We're going to break down its architecture, put its performance to the test, and show you exactly how to get it working in your own projects. So, here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the fundamentals, that big choice between encoder and decoder architectures. Then we'll get right inside EmbeddingGemma itself. After that, we'll see how it stacks up on the leaderboards, walk through some actual code, and then, for the really fun part, we'll unlock its true potential with custom fine-tuning. Let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the two big architectures that dominate language models today. You know, these massive text-generating decoder models, they get all the headlines, right? But there's another architecture that is absolutely critical for things like semantic search, classification, and retrieval. You know, the actual backbone for so many AI applications we use every day. So that leads us to a really fundamental question. If a decoder's main job is just to predict the very next word, which architecture is actually designed from the ground up to build a deep, contextual understanding of a whole chunk of text, all at once? Well, the answer really gets at the core difference between encoders and decoders. And this slide, this really lays it all out. The key difference is this. Encoders use what's called bidirectional attention. That means they look at the entire sentence at once, forwards and backwards, to build this really rich picture of the context. They're trained to do things like fill in missing words, which forces them to learn context. Decoders, on the other hand, they use causal attention. They can only look backwards from a given point to predict what's next. That makes them awesome for generation, but just not as good for that deep, holistic understanding. And this is just brilliant. This is hard data from the ETIN paper that illustrates the point perfectly. What they did was train an encoder and a decoder side by side, same data, same recipe. Now look at the results for the MNLI classification task. The 400 million parameter encoder actually beats the 1 billion parameter decoder. It's not about being bigger, it's about having the right architecture for the job. The specialized tool wins even when it's way, way smaller. And the researchers themselves sum it up perfectly right here. You can try to force a decoder to do an encoder's job, just keep training it, but it's always going to be a suboptimal approach. Starting with the correct architecture from day one is just far more effective. And that very principle is what brings us to our main event. So, this brings us straight to EmbeddingGemma. This isn't some repurposed model. It was built from the ground up on these exact principles. It's a purpose-built encoder designed to do one thing and do it exceptionally well: create world-class text embeddings. So let's pop the hood and see what's inside. EmbeddingGemma is impressively efficient. We're talking just 308 million parameters, which is fantastic for on-device applications. But the real key here is its foundation. It uses a Gemma 3 backbone, but, and this is critical, it's been modified to use that powerful bidirectional attention we just talked about. That's what turns it into a true encoder. It's got a solid 2K token context window, and then a pretty straightforward pooling and dense layer setup to create the final output. Let's just trace the data flow for a second. Your text comes in and first hits that Gemma 3 encoder backbone. That's where it generates token-level embeddings using that full 360-degree contextual view. Then, a mean pooling layer takes all those token embeddings and basically squishes them into a single vector that represents the whole input. Finally, two dense layers just refine that vector into its final 768-dimensional form. It's a really clean and effective pipeline. Okay, but this is where the design gets really clever. EmbeddingGemma is trained with this technique called Matryoshka Representation Learning, or MRL. The best way to think about it is like those Russian nesting dolls. MRL trains the model to pack the most important high-level semantic information right at the beginning of the embedding vector, with the finer details layered on in the dimensions that come after. So, what does that mean for you in practice? It means you can literally just chop off the end of that 768-dimension vector, take it down to 512, 256, even 128 dimensions, and you don't get a catastrophic drop in performance. For any researcher, this is a huge deal. It gives you a direct dial to trade off between performance, processing speed, and, of course, storage costs in your vector database. It's incredibly flexible. All right, so the architecture is smart, it's efficient, but how does it actually perform out in the wild? Let's take a look at the benchmarks. And yeah, on the massive text embedding benchmark, EmbeddingGemma really punches above its weight class. It is the highest-ranking multilingual embedding model under 500 million parameters. It's outperforming larger comparable models. This isn't just a win on paper, it's a real-world demonstration of how a purpose-built, efficient architecture can deliver truly state-of-the-art results. Okay, theory time is over. Let's get practical and see how you can actually integrate this model into your own workflows. But, and I can't stress this enough, there is one absolutely critical detail you have to pay attention to if you want to get the best performance. The crucial point is this: you must use task-specific prompts. The model is trained from the start to know the difference between jobs, like retrieval versus classification versus clustering, by looking for a special prefix at the beginning of the text. So if you're embedding a search query, you need to add this exact prompt you see here. If you forget this, you're going to get way worse results because the model just won't know what kind of embedding you're asking it to create. The good news is all the popular libraries make this pretty easy. If you're using sentence transformers, you just load the model like you normally would. But then, instead of a generic .encode call, you use the dedicated methods, encode query and encode document. These automatically stick the right prompts on for you right behind the scenes. Super clean, super simple. Now, if you're a LangChain user, the process is pretty similar. When you initialize your Hugging Face embeddings class, you just have to pass in these specific keyword arguments, the query encode quarks and encode quarks. This is how you tell LangChain which of the model's built-in prompts to use for your queries versus your documents. And with LlamaIndex, you have to be even more explicit, which can be a good thing. Here, you're passing the full prompt strings directly into the query instruction and text instruction arguments. So you see the pattern, right? Whichever framework you're using, you've got to make sure that model gets the task prompt it's expecting. Okay, so the pre-trained model is already powerful. It's great right out of the box. But what if you need true expert-level performance in a really specialized field, like medicine or law? Well, that's where fine-tuning comes in. Let's look at how we can adapt EmbeddingGemma for a very specific research task. So for our case study, we're going to use Myriad. It's a fantastic data set full of detailed medical questions and the exact passages from scientific papers that answer them. The goal here is pretty simple. We want to take the excellent general-purpose EmbeddingGemma and turn it into a specialist, an expert at finding precise medical information. And the results? After fine-tuning on just a piece of the Myriad dataset, the performance on the NDCG at 10 retrieval metric shot up by over 5 points. I mean, that is a massive improvement. It's a clear signal that the model got significantly better at finding the exact right medical passage for any given query. And here it is, the big payoff. Our fine-tuned model, which is still only 268 million parameters, now comfortably outperforms much larger general-purpose models on this specialized medical task. This is the power of domain adaptation. A small, focused expert can absolutely run circles around a big generalist on its own home turf. So let's just quickly boil this all down. What are the key takeaways? First, architecture matters more than you think. Purpose-built encoders are just better for embedding tasks. Second, efficiency is its own kind of power. Clever tricks like Matryoshka Representation Learning give you incredible flexibility. And finally, fine-tuning is how you go from great to truly state-of-the-art. That's how you unlock massive performance gains, by tailoring a model to your specific domain. And all this leaves us with a really interesting final thought. You know, we live in this era of AI giants, models with hundreds of billions of parameters. But the story of EmbeddingGemma suggests there's another path forward. Maybe the future of applied AI progress isn't just about building bigger and bigger giants, but also about creating these smaller, highly efficient, and incredibly adaptable specialists. So the question is, what does that mean for your own research?